Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duck Bricks. I'm Chris, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of the largest LEGO Bricklink AFOL designer program sets yet. This is the incredible $400 Studgate Train Station. So what's the story behind this? Well, Bricklink is the official used and new marketplace for discontinued LEGO. This is a website that LEGO actually owns and operates that essentially is the secondhand market for all things LEGO. Sets, minifigs, parts, gear, you name it, you can find it on Bricklink. Well, once LEGO actually acquired Bricklink.com, they hosted the Bricklink AFOL Designer Program, which allowed AFOLs and fan designers to come together and actually be able to create fan designs to be made into official sets. Most of these were based off of rejected LEGO Ideas proposals, which were sets that reached the 10,000 required votes to be considered to be made into an official LEGO set, but weren't quite actually made into a set just because there are so many different considerations and options for the Ideas team to pursue, and really only so many different slots. In fact, what LEGO has done is through the Bricklink AFOL Designer Program, they have taken these rejected concepts and turned them into actual LEGO sets, some of which are incredibly popular, like the Castle in the Forest, which sold out within minutes of coming online. So there's a catch-22 about these, because the only way to actually get them was to, number one, know the day that they were actually going to drop on LEGO.com and Bricklink.com, and be there on the dot to actually purchase these sets before they sold out, because pretty much every single one sold out within the course of just a single day. So they're really hard to get. If you want to buy them secondhand on the market now, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but they are some of the best LEGO sets that they have ever put out. Certainly a lot of interesting quirks to them, but I'm quite excited to showcase the Studgate Train Station, which we actually have fully built right over here, and I also can't wait to integrate it fully into my LEGO City. I'll probably be doing a separate video on that, but here is the amazing Studgate Train Station. I want to actually have it be a part of my LEGO City, so this is a bit of a staging grounds to factor in new buildings. But so, without further ado, let's jump into the review of the Studgate Train Station. Okay, so this is set number 910002 Studgate Train Station. When it released, it retailed for $400 US, 340 euros, and 300 British pounds. It comes with 4,062 pieces, putting it at around a 9.8 cent price per part ratio, with 11 minifigures, all of which are technically unique to the set in their existing configurations, but also just use existing LEGO minifigure pieces. And this is the largest official LEGO train station ever released to date. It is gargantuan, and this is maybe one of the most impressive looking sets that I have ever had the pleasure of putting together. So where do I even start with this? So obviously this is the most realistic looking LEGO train station that we've ever gotten from LEGO, and for good reason, because again, this was built by an adult fan of LEGO. This was not something made by LEGO designers, it was explicitly something that was just set up to be a specialized build for people who are fans of LEGO, for adult collectors. Because of that, there are a few oddities in the way things are done. There are definitely things done in this set that I don't think official LEGO sets would do just for stability reasons, or because they were maybe a little bit frustrating to put together and be able to have all the pieces fit together in the ways that they are supposed to be put together for this set. But for the most part, this was actually a really solid build, and it was actually a fairly standard build until we got to this part. This is where things started to get a little bit crazy. But for the most part, this was a really just solid build, and what I really want to do now is actually integrate this into my LEGO City. I think this really deserves a spot in my LEGO City, which I've been working on for months and months now, and I don't even think I've really showed it off on video yet, because I kind of want it to be perfect before showing it off, which maybe is a bit counterintuitive to LEGO. Maybe at some point I will, but I want to integrate this into my city because this just looks so good from every angle. So even on the back side, like the side that isn't really supposed to be seen, it looks really solid. Like, this is such a cool design. It is so amazing to be able to get this. And what's really nice for people who are just fans of rare LEGO pieces and just like building different types of LEGO sets, the pieces that they use for the glass kind of curved canopy here are incredibly rare, transparent, clear garage door pieces. These were really just mostly in a couple of sets, a lot of vintage sets, but they also were in the very rare modular building Town Hall, and then this just uses a ton of them. So I'm really happy that LEGO was able to actually include these in the set itself, and wow, this is just stunning. I am kind of shocked this even managed to be made into an official build. When I first saw images of the mock, I was thinking, wow, there's no way that they actually translate this one-to-one into a set. But they did. Like, this is an official LEGO set. So they pulled it off. It is spectacular. How do I even begin with this? So I think the thing to start with is the trains. So you build the trains first. The trains themselves are pretty good. I mean, they're nothing super special, but you essentially get two cars and they are just identical. So here's how the trains look in general. They are very much like modern, realistic style LEGO trains. What is very nice is that you can remove the roofs. So this is what the roof looks like here. And then you can just like take one of the trains and put a ton of minifigures on the inside. I appreciate how we have so much seating space for the figures as well as for the conductors on the front. And this again comes with 11 minifigures, so there are minifigures to populate in the trains themselves. Now, personally, what I would want to do is I kind of want to put this in my city and motorize these trains because they just feel like a realistic style of train to be able to be put in the city. So I really appreciate the design here, and they just kind of link up like that. Now, these just sit right inside in the station, and they are perfectly made to interface with the station itself, which is very nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these on the inside so we can kind of showcase what it looks like with the trains on the tracks. So that takes up like the first couple of bags, but really for the most part, all of the pieces other than those come into just the entire station itself. And wow, is this an impressive station. I am a huge fan of how this came together because you have a lot of great architectural details where you can see different types of pieces being used to really accentuate the detail here. You've got a bat element being used there, trophy pieces, some of the tail pieces for LEGO dinosaur stuff, but then they're curving upwards for the Bionicle Baraki tooth element. You have a clock here. All of the detail of how the initial front-facing aspect of the set came together is really impressive. And I also like how they made this really accessible for minifigures to actually go around to reach the different levels. There's a staircase here that you can go up, and you can actually walk around and explore this top upper deck element where you can see there's a bit of a newspaper stand in there. Let me see if I can actually get the camera in closer here. So you got a newspaper stand there, you have a minifigure with a guitar on his back, you have some nice little tables with awnings that are just angled on the side, which are very nice here. You've got foliage, and I also really love how these lamps are done. These lanterns are just super simple, but they're just done in a really nice manner to really accentuate the architecture here, utilizing these elements right here to really add some character to the way that they're built. Now, this set does have a lot of exclusive stickers because, again, it is one of the Bricklink AFOL Designer Program sets, so you have a nice Studgate sticker here, and I really like that from the minifigure eye view, you can feel like you are going into a real train station. Like, this feels like you are walking into a station, which is just so cool. You can, of course, go up the stairs here, and then this is has a full-on sidewalk, and also this is wheelchair accessible. So if you're in a wheelchair, one of the minifigures here does have a wheelchair, you can actually go up the ramp here, and they actually have a full path on the inside here to roll wheelchairs across the station, which is really nice. Unfortunately, there is no elevator to bring them to the upper levels, but I do understand that that would have required a lot of additional pieces, so I kind of get why they did not do that. Now on here you have pretty standard platforms for the minifigures to be able to board on. It feels very just realistic to me in the way that this is done. So you've got different characters standing and waiting to board here, like so, which is very nice. You also have a bit of a ticket machine there, so that's cool how you can actually insert your tickets for the train station, and again, another one of those Studgate stickers being utilized here for the top of the staircase. Now, of course, the center area is dedicated for the trains themselves, but just imagine, like, look at how big this is. This angle is so cool to me because you can really see the type of window and the roof here. This looks like, if you pretend you're a minifigure and, like, look at this, this is just so cool. Like, this feels like I am in, it reminds me of Europe, it reminds me of some of my favorite travels, just going around in train stations, looking up. A lot of train stations have this kind of curved architecture, so that is just so cool. It is so well done. And you even have just this gorgeous chandelier hanging from the ceiling as well. Obviously it's swinging a little bit because I was moving it around, but this is really nicely built and really just adds an extra level of class to the entire building that makes it feel so much more special. Now, going upwards here, you actually do have staircases to make your way up to this upper ramp here, and that is really how you access the top part of the building. So what we're going to do is rotate this around, and this is a very, I mean, again, this is a $400 set. This is a beast to maneuver around and rotate, but you can see here that you have staircases that just go upwards here. You can move your way up to the upper deck here, utilizing the LEGO Ninjago Nauticon hair pieces as more details there, which is a nice piece usage to get there. You've got some lanterns, and then you have stairs that actually lead up to the upper level here, where you can see you have a viewing area, so you have binoculars for the minifigures to look out over the city, which is just really nice to have an additional viewing platform. You have this dome, and the dome is really interesting because the initial proposal utilized very old discontinued pieces from the 80s, from classic space, that were just big quarter dome pieces that obviously are not in production today, so the designer had to come up with something different, and what they came up with is actually really solid, utilizing some transparent clear windscreen elements formed around this kind of octagonal shape, and then you have smaller windscreen elements being used up here that hold the top part in place. This is not connected by any studs. It literally is just held into place by different layers of windscreens, which is so impressive. I mean, I'm just blown away by how good this looks altogether. And then you even have just a bit of a couch seating area like you would see in a lot of train stations. They have stuff like this, and you also have what I really do like, just little details again. You have a guy or a chef here, he comes with a chef hat or a baseball cap, selling hot dogs, and he just have a little, like, dispenser for ketchup and mustard there as well. Just little details like that really make the set for me. And it really feels like this is a real lived-in environment after seeing all of those excellent details that have been configured in the set itself. Now, in case you're curious, yes, the roof does remove, although it is admittedly a little bit of a hassle to actually get back on. So this is how that works. Let me see if we can demonstrate it here. So the way that you remove the roof is that it technically is attached very loosely, but it's mostly just attached by gravity. But the way you remove it is that you kind of just lift these up here, and the entire thing just comes off. I'm not actually going to do it right now because this, I will admit, is kind of a hassle to get off. Like, it took me a good 5 minutes to get this aligned to be on there, so we're going to leave it on. It's okay how it is. The upper part also is removable, so this one is a little bit easier to remove, but as you can see, that just lifts the entire chandelier out, and this is its own separate piece, so you can see looking really good there. But I'm going to very gently put this back on, get the chandelier threaded through the hole, and get that reattached right here. Let me see if I can just get this reattached in the way it's supposed to be. It is a little bit finicky because you do have nothing really attaching the different aspects of the hinges together, so you just have to get that attached, and there we go. Okay, that is fully set up there. But altogether, this is just a really impressive build. And for $400, the value feels like it's actually here. This is surprisingly dense for what it is. There's so much going on in just this one build that it really does feel like it earns the price tag, and almost feels like LEGO could have charged, if they made this an official set like nowadays, I feel like they could have charged like $450 or $500 and it would have still been wildly popular. Now, I will say there are a couple of cons about the set. There are a couple of things that while building it, I was realizing that it's probably not a building technique LEGO would do. This is not that bad. There are much worse sets from the Bricklink AFOL designer program that are built with much more, I would say, questionable building techniques that definitely would never be done by LEGO. There's just a couple of things that, like, I know LEGO wouldn't do it, but they're not that bad. Specifically, for building these, you basically just have a very repetitive technique of putting together a ton of Technic beams and Technic linkages and connectors to put them together. It's super repetitive. It doesn't even look that repetitive offhand, but you basically have to build, like, this section a ton of times, like 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 times. You just have to do this, and then you have to link these all together. So it definitely is, like, this is not the most engaging and not even maybe the most fun build. Like, this is, I would call this work. Like, it was work putting this together. But you cannot deny how good the end result is. Now, there's a couple things that might be just call-outs for folks who maybe are building this themselves that I just want to point out. Attaching these to this, they are attached by a series of a ton of Technic pins and clips to hold the glass in, is really hard. Like, that took me several tries, and I also, once I had one side attached, I literally had to get a box to rest this on to mount the other side. Just something to call out, LEGO probably wouldn't do that in an official set, or they would come up with some other way or order of attaching things that makes more sense. It's not a big deal. Sacrifices have to be made to achieve something that looks as amazing as this, but just something I do want to point out. Otherwise, everything surprisingly came together fairly simply. It felt like I was building a real LEGO set. Again, this really did feel like I was actually putting together a set that was just really, really well done. Just something just beyond anything that I've experienced with LEGO before. Altogether, I honestly cannot recommend this enough, and that's unfortunately where the kind of sad part of this comes in, and that's that these sets were only available for basically a single day on LEGO.com and Bricklink, and they sold out within minutes, if not hours. So there's no actual way to get this directly from LEGO if you want to get it today. There are a couple of things that you could do. You could purchase this off of Bricklink, although unfortunately, looking at the Bricklink price at the time of this recording, the cheapest one that I see is from a seller in Germany selling it for $539. So that's like $140 over what it should be. The next one is $600, and that one's not even sealed. We have a $610, $620, $620, $625. So this is marked up a good over $200 from what it retailed for, which makes sense given, one, how limited it was, and also how good it is. Like, this is just a really good build, and understandably, if you just did not know that they were releasing that day, if you were not clued into the LEGO news and the LEGO sites, this is something that you could have easily missed. And I know that there are a lot of fans who did miss out on it, which is too bad, because it is so good. Like, this is such an amazing build, and I just wish that there was more opportunities for people to be able to get this. But that about sums up my review of the incredible Studgate Train Station. I am very happy that I bought this $400 after building it. Yeah, that feels really fair to me because it's just that good. It has so many pieces, but it really feels like it earns its presence as a massive, massive LEGO set. You are getting the biggest size of LEGO base plate and putting this amazing build on it. I'm so happy with this, and I wish that more people got a chance to experience this. Now it's time to go ahead and add this to my city, so I'm going to do that, and stay tuned for even more videos, because I'll probably be putting out a video on either incorporating this in my LEGO city, or maybe just a video showcasing my LEGO city with this already in it, coming out at some point in the future. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Alright, and with that, we have taken a look at the amazing Studgate Train Station. That is certainly one of the most interesting styles of LEGO builds that we've gotten in a long time. I love the way that they have the large glass roof, and of course the building techniques were absolutely stellar. This was one of the most interesting AFOL design sets that we've gotten in a long time, and I hope you enjoyed this look at the very rare and exclusive train station. Thank you all so much for tuning into DuckBricks. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming away very soon. And bye for now.